I was born in 1999, so I can hardly say that I'm a 90s kid. But I can say that during preschool and kindergarten, the word apple only implied the fruit, not the multi-billion-dollar company that it is today. Like many of you, most of my life has been surrounded by innovation, discovery, and creation. Our world thrives off on the concepts of quicker and better, and we try our best to keep up with the constant changes, but really, fortunate or unfortunate, we've grown accustomed to this way of life. From clothing trends, pop culture topics, technology, and physical waste, everything we see and do has become disposable. For instance, almost every other year, a new iPhone is released. If our own is working or not, we get new phones because we want the newest, better, and quicker thing. Our world has evolved into this way of life, and as a result, our generation has become disposable. Disposable literally means to be used once or until no longer useful, and then to be thrown away. Our generation is surrounded by new constantly, but why have we grown accustomed to a life where nothing is truly cherished? Think about this for a second. We have become accustomed to a disposable lifestyle. I bet you really can't think of one true reason why we have become adapted to this disposable routine. Possibly because of environmental factors. In 1999, the first interactive blog was created and is still in use today. An article written by The Telegraph discusses a study conducted in Canada where 2,000 technologically advanced persons, referring to those that are particularly good at using and understanding technology, were surveyed, and 112 of those persons had a brain test done in order to study their brain activity. The study was trying to gain a greater understanding of the human attention span. The result shows that the human attention span was 12 seconds in 2000, and in 2015, it was reported that it dropped to 8 seconds. Even more interesting, the study concluded that a goldfish has a longer attention span than a human being. They outsmart us by 1 second. The head researcher, Bruce Morton, a researcher at the University of Western Ontario, believes that the correlation stems from the beginning of the technological revolution in 2000. When we were little kids and used to hold our breath during those intense competitions, we learned how long seconds actually are. In just 15 years, the average human attention span dropped an astounding 4 seconds. Our own abstract thought process has even become disposable. A raise of hands. How many of you have gotten an upgrade on your phone in the past 2 years? I am very proficient in dropping phones and inevitably crack the screen. So personally, I've had 2 phones in the past year. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Because we have grown up in a world and have witnessed quite literally a technological revolution, it's difficult to not want newer, better, and clearer. But why do we feel the need to get something newer, better, and clearer when what we have functions properly and, frankly, quite well? It is a social construct that has formed over these past few years that something that is 2 or 3 years old is obsolete. But the true definition of obsolete is old-fashioned. An iPhone 6S is the furthest thing from obsolete. The typewriter is obsolete. The first Mac computer created in 1984 is obsolete. This is the true definition of disposability. Aside from trading in the actual device when you get a new phone, have you ever thought about where all the shrink wrap and packaging go when you unwrap that new phone from the perfectly white rectangular box? According to Statistica.com, in 2015, there were 322 million metric tons of plastic produced on a global scale. Studies have been conducted in order to figure out how much plastic will be thrown into our oceans over the next few decades. And according to the Ocean Conservatory, by 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish, and 3 times the amount of plastic will be produced in 2050 as compared to 2014. Not only have we become disposable within our materialistic-driven world, but also within our culture, political, and news circles. Remember Ebola? How everyone thought the world was going to turn into a horror movie, but then everyone forgot about it 2 or 3 weeks later? Zika? When was the last time you checked up on Zika zones? These zones are in our own backyard, straight down I-95 South in Miami, but you don't think about it anymore, do you? The Kylie Jenner lip challenge, the black and gold or blue or white dress, so many little things that everyone talks about for a minute and then completely disregards it. This is mostly due to the fact that there's always something new, more interesting, and more important that we need to devote our focus to. Is that not the entire basis of the app Snapchat? It allows us to look at a picture for up to 10 seconds, and once it disappears, it's like it never happened. But the true intention of taking of a picture was to hold on to the memory, keep the photos in a photo album, and look at them at a later time and remember the good old days. Also, each of the stories on Snapchat, BuzzFeed, the Daily Mail, People, has allowed Snapchat users to quickly look at what's going on in the world of pop culture, politics, or the news, and once we no longer have interest, which apparently can only be held for 8 seconds now anyway, we can hit our home button twice and go back to a different application on the 4.7-inch screen that has literally consumed our lives. Continuing with the idea of constantly looking at a 4.7-inch screen, even the dating scene has changed. The app Tinder was created in 2012, intended to create an accessible way to interact with people with similar interests in the same location. If you want to match with this person, you swipe right, and if not, you swipe left. In 2014, Tinder reported that they received 1 billion swipes per day. An article written on the New York Times titled, "On Tinder, Taking a Swipe at Love or Sex or Something in New York," written by Alan Feuer, describes how the dating scene has changed since the invention of Tinder and the beginning of the technological revolution. Feuer concludes, the city's online dating pool is difficult to quantify, but according to experts who have studied dating trends, it is mostly composed of busy, fairly wealthy transplants who have left their friends and families and thus are looking assertively to make connections in the most efficient way they can. But in all honesty, putting romantic relationships aside, just becoming friends with someone takes effort. You can't just will a friendship because it's more efficient. Creating a meaningful relationship takes work, and because people are looking for the most efficient way to make a connection, we have lost our ability to cherish relationships now. Our relationships have become disposable. Further, New York City is to be known as one of the most fastest cities in the world because of how many people are walking those crowded streets during the day, how many yellow cabs are on those narrow streets, and how many visitors from around the world are visiting this unique place. Because of this, Feuer says, in a city where things move fast and time is valuable, it's quick, it gets right to the point. But after a while, people tend to become dispensable. It lessens the value of each person you go out with. Alan Feuer concludes that because the dating scene has changed so much that the value of a person, a living, breathing human being on this earth, value has lessened. That is the true definition of disposability. We've grown accustomed to a life where our physical waste and our own abstract thought has become disposable. But this theme of this year's TEDx is zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. But do we really want a world where disposability is the spirit of our time? With our minds expanding, innovation, creation, and discovery everywhere, shouldn't we take all our knowledge that we have gained in order to make our world less disposable? Thank you.